Hey, what's going on, y'all? So, brought you over to the whiteboard so I could map out this idea for you. I was explaining this concept to a friend yesterday, so I wanted to just share it with you. Essentially, the concept is push versus pull marketing. So, what do I mean by push versus pull marketing? Well, essentially, every business eventually starts to see themselves from a push mentality, which is why having an outside perspective is extremely helpful, because it becomes very difficult to properly explain what you do to other people because you start taking on a very insulated perspective of your own business. So what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is over time, you start to see your business as, okay, you've got a business, right? And that business is providing some sort of product or service, right, to a customer, okay, or your audience, right? Okay, and so that's the flow. That's the value flow of business. The business provides a product or service to their customer, and that customer provides money back into the business. So that is essentially what I mean by the push marketing, is that the business is pushing the product or service to the customer. The business is pushing the product and service to the customer. And that starts to become that sort of like fundamental value chain. And over time, we just create marketing materials that essentially do this pushing, right? It's from this push perspective where you're prioritizing, essentially what you're doing is you're prioritizing your product or service over the customer. And so you're valuing the features that you've placed in your product or service over the customer that you're speaking to. And what becomes most important to you is your business and your product or service. And what is least important to you ultimately is your customer, right? They should be grateful that you are providing these features and this product and service that you have designed, right? So what that ultimately looks like, I see this absolutely the most just because I'm coming from a videography perspective. Oftentimes, I see this all the time from camera makers. They are really great at the push mentality. And essentially every time there is a camera release, these camera makers will make the camera video, and it's like the product release video. I'll show you one that Panasonic put out, but it is essentially the quintessential product camera release. You have the camera and they're showing it in all these different angles. They'll even do this digital breakdown thing. They'll dismantle the whole camera so they can show you the sensor and they can show you the processor and brag about all the stuff they've put inside of that. But essentially what happens is they are speaking about features completely out of context. None of it makes sense. It makes absolutely no sense what these features are designed to do and how these features are helpful, because essentially what they're just doing is they're just telling you about the features. They're pushing the features on you, and it literally makes no sense to anyone else outside of the business. And so this is what a sort of like insular marketing starts to look like, is you know your business, you know what you're talking about. You know what products and features are in there. You're even going to spend a lot of time to come up with fancy names for these products and features that you have. But essentially, you're just pushing it onto the customer, and you're not really helping to contextualize why these things are necessary or to explain exactly who this camera was designed for. So ultimately, and what ends up happening is this ultimately is like the tip of the iceberg perspective. It's just seeing the top, and it's forgetting the chain that's going on underneath. And the chain that's going on all the time underneath is you've got, let me see if I can switch up colors here so we can do this one. But you've got this customer, right? And they have this dream, this driving desire of what they ultimately want their life to look like, right? So they've got this dream or driving desire that they are trying to achieve, okay? But that's where they're trying to go. They're trying to get to their dream. But there is a problem standing in the way that they're facing that is preventing them from getting this dream, from getting what they want. There's a problem. Okay? The business comes along and provides this product or service to solve that problem for them and clear the way so that way they can ultimately get to their dream state and ultimately get what they wanted in the beginning in the first place. Okay? So that is what's underneath the iceberg. You have a customer who wants something, but they're facing a problem and they need this product or service to solve that problem for them so they can ultimately get what they want. That's the customer journey. That's what's ultimately going on. And that is the pull pathway. It's the pull of the customer trying to get to their dream and showing how your product or service is solving the problem that they're facing that's preventing them to get to their dream, that clears the path so they can get to their dream. So what does pull marketing look like? So I found an ad by Apple. Obviously, Apple is super great at pull marketing because they're incredible at just brand storytelling in general. And this ad essentially contextualizes privacy, right? So we'll just watch this ad really quick.
I've browsed 8 sites for divorce attorneys today.
I browsed 8 sites for divorce attorneys today.
My login for everything is Pauline@paulinefu.com.
I love working with you.
Me too.
Red heart emoji.
Pink heart emoji.
Yellow heart emoji.
Blue heart emoji.
I hate Lee though.
Puke emoji.
Puke emoji.
I am currently reading an article titled 10 Ways to Keep Sweaty Hands from Holding You Back.
My home is in 1,000 feet.
My heart rate is currently 150, 151, 152, and back down to 150.
On March 15th at 9:16 a.m., I purchased prenatal vitamins and 4 pregnancy tests.
The number on my credit card is 0237 1221 0725
Okay, so the brilliance about this ad is that it takes a single feature, but puts that single feature in context. So you could try to argue that, oh, they're using a funny joke. So the answer is to make all of our features seem funny and put it in a comical light. No, that's not what they're doing. What they're doing is they're shifting their perspective away from a push mentality of pushing these features onto the customer to thinking about this from the customer's perspective. What does the customer care about? What ultimately matters to them? And so we're going to take a single feature so we don't overwhelm them with information. We're going to take a single feature and we're going to contextualize it into the customer's language, showing how that single feature solves a problem that the customer is facing, right? Information privacy solves that problem and clears the path so they can get to their dream state. The dream state here is basically a state where no one knows all of my personal information and I get to retain my personal information, right? So that's what I want. I want a private life because private lives are normal. So that's the thing. Rather than overwhelming the audience with completely out of context product features and things that don't make any sense, they're meeting the audience where they're at and pulling them to the solution. So there's the difference. Push marketing, which is just the tip of the iceberg, what we start to get confused by because we become absorbed in the insular vision of our business, versus pull marketing, which is what's actually going on, which is that ultimately customer doesn't really care about this perspective. What they care about is getting what their dream state is, getting what they want. We're providing that product or solution to clear the pathway for them to help them get to that ultimate end. So hope you guys enjoy this. Hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. All right, take care.